Hello, Paul Hamilton here. Look, we're going to take a look at another thinking routine called headlines today, and just look at how we can use it with one of our favorite apps, which is Book Creator, and maybe some context that we can actually use it. So, look, if you haven't seen headlines, go to the Visible Thinking Routines by Project Zero and have a look at some of the different routines. And the great thing about these is you can apply them to any context. This context here, I've used Book Creator. And I've created a headline for the book The Rabbits by Sean Tan, illustrated by Sean Tan and written by John Marsden, a famous Australian duo that do great work. And you can see there, basically, I've looked at the book, I've got an image from the book, and then at the top here, I've come up with a headline for the book, which is a great way of summarizing and synthesizing what that book was all about. So for this, it was really, for me, we know that it's a book about, draws parallels with colonisation in Australia and how the rabbits took over compared to how white Europeans took over and so forth, and the impact that resulted in that. And I've come up with a heading there of Rabbit Stew, a Toxic Main Meal, just because I really wanted to portray that, that element of how the Europeans took over and how it was toxic for the environment and for the indigenous people that already lived here. So once again, the great thing about this is we need to justify it. So really easily we could actually go to plus here and we could bring in a media and actually bring in a sound recording of my justification of that headline and why I actually selected it. But I think the key is here bringing in a visual of the book, coming up with context. And you can see here by pressing the heading here, I've done a little bit of formatting, teaching kids a little bit about the formatting within Book Creator, what font I've actually selected here, being able to make it black and white to resemble some sort of kind of newspaper format, and then being able to bring in obviously images to justify what the response is. And I could have brought in a few different images there. So that's just a quick tutorial about how you can use Book Creator to do some thinking routines. In this one, I've used the headline, and at the bottom of this video, I'll put in a link to go a little bit further and to read a little bit more about thinking routines and how we can use them in the classroom. Obviously, you could use this for a political image, and you could get kids to think about what the political message it was in, and then coming up with obviously some brainstormed ideas for a heading and selecting one and then actually justifying that response. I hope you found that interesting. Paul Hamilton here, signing off.